a few of the amazing Dr. Robert Morse's videos. So if you haven't seen them, please go to my channel, check them out. You know, I can be a bit annoying sometimes, probably, you know, seem like arrogant, and I just want to apologise for that. It's never meant to be. I don't want to be coming across like that. It's never my intention. So just putting that out there. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you're all well, happy, grateful, and I hope you're thriving instead of just trying to be surviving. So happy Monday. So this is a video called Red or Blue Pill. You ever wondered why purple is seen as a royal colour, or as also the colour for spirituality and spiritual protection and awareness? Well, everything is colour coded, whether you know it yet or not. Some of you out there possibly have seen this out and about in real time, and some may not be aware yet. And so if you're not aware yet, I would look into it a bit deeper if you're interested in that. It's very eye-opening. And basically it rules everything in the material world is all to do with colour coding first and foremost. That trumps all the sigils, symbology, yeah, and symbols. So yeah, hieroglyphs or glyphs, whatever you want to call them. And so, you know, like hot and cold is red and blue. Also, you know, alkaline and acids, red and blue, mix them together. In the middle, neutral. I know neutral's green on a pH scale, but mix the blue and red together, you get purple, which is best of both, which is, you know, like firing on all aspects. And also converging. I like words like that. So yes, there you go. So, without waffling on, I do tend to waffle on, you know. I've made some notes because, like an idiot, I'd only gone and put my cup on the notes. And then, yeah, well, the rest, as they say, is history. So I had to make some more. And also I got my dressing gown. And also, on top of that, ta-da! I've got my trusty smoothie. Mwah. I'm a fruit cake, but without the cake though. Only on special occasions. Right. Oh, matron. Oh. Right. So, this video, or the majority of that thereof, is about mine, yours, our lymphatic system. So, why is it so important? And is it the main top priority of importance? Well, no. It shares this role and is equally and vitally important to our overall health and mental well-being. And that goes for, you know, extreme, as in mood disorders, and then personality disorders. And also, let's just add in, just so we form a nice triangle, all self-supporting and all that, and all the sacred geometry, and that's another video. So yeah, behaviour disorders. So that's, they all stem from this, which stems from diet, which is all about nutrition. And nutrition is the first ever nootropic. I'm not going to go into what that is, but I will make a video on that. So anyway, food is medicine, is mood, right? So we've all heard of the phrase, and I've even partaken in the action of eating my feelings. Food for thought. Anyway. So yes, it shares the importance of being right up there, like of priority, first and foremost, with your blood and circulatory system. The reason being, well, what does the blood do, essentially? It does many amazing things, that it does. But without listing everyone, we're just going to go for what should be mainstream common sense or knowledge. But your blood and circulatory system is the body's way of carrying oxygen and nutrition to all parts of our body. And so if you have to eat stuff, then you have to excrete stuff, that being metabolic waste, right? So by metabolic waste, I basically mean, just hang on a minute. That's it. It's just catching on that thing, So, just bear with me. I'm not a pro yet, So, I just want to make sure that's still charging. That's better. So, when you have to eat stuff, you have to also excrete stuff. That's, no surprise, okay? So the lymphatic system is your immune system, or at least part of, right? Because, there's many little gnarly parts and, that branch off of that. So, but we're just going to, I'm not going to go into too much detail, because with that and me waffling on, we'll be here all fucking week. And I'm sure nobody wants that. So right. So what is the lymphatic system? The lymphatic system is your waste disposal system, your sewer system. And so, every second of every single hour of every single day, we are producing metabolic waste, whether that's dead skin cells and tissues, worn out cells, and, toxins and chemicals from the atmosphere, lifestyles, foods, you name it, the list goes on. And even clothes. So yes, So in the lymph, there is bacteria, as there is in all parts of the body. That, I would dare to say, is what we're made up of, you know, microbes. Certainly, sometimes you could look at, you know, the population at whole in general and possibly say that we look like maybe a bacterial imbalance. You know, I've heard worse, but anyway, I digress. So there is bacteria. Basically, their job is to start breaking down the matter so that it can be removed from the body in the designated areas. So and by doing this, you know, everything that takes on nutrition, or eats if you like, also poops. Yeah. So when bacteria have broken down this metabolic waste, and this is all going on inside of you, you know, like right now in real time. Amazing. So yeah, while this is going on, the bacteria are excreting their waste also, which is and forms an acid. So just putting that out there. So this is why the lymphatic system is a lipid-based system. And what I mean by lipid-based is it's greasy, it's fatty. That's what a lipid is. And why is it this? Why does it have to be that? Well, that's simple. Because if it was water-based, it wouldn't protect the mucosa, which is the mucous membranes, which are very, very sensitive parts of inside of us and leading to the outside. Now, how about that? So it is the safest, effective way to remove acid waste products from out of your bodily system by using the lipids, right? It protects the sensitive mucosa. You know, we all know about stomach ulcers, peptic ulcers, whatever you want to call them, you know, and acid reflux, and, you know, basically that's, you know, to do with the epiglottis, you know, where your food pipe joins your stomach, and, you know, you either get the build-up of the acid there, or the overflowing because of that fleshy flap. It is called a epiglottis. If you don't believe me, look it up. But yeah, so it's like it is just like a fleshy flap type of thing. Fleshy flap. So, right, and so I'm just looking at my notes. I've just got loads of notes, you see, just bloody, you know, because I just want to make sure that I cover what I need to cover. And, you know, I don't want to get things mixed up, don't want to leave things out, and want to stick to, you know, the general subject. Oh God, you know, I'm forgetting words, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to. One thing I still haven't finished with yet, and please, you know, don't find it necessary to even comment on the smoking. I mean, we all have his vices. That being said, So yeah, the best prevention for getting addicted to smoking is what? Just don't even start. It's easier to get into shit than out of shit, if you know what I mean. I'm sure a lot of people agree. I've been in some parts of my life and felt like, well, yeah, a tortoise on my back, not able to get upright and the right road, right road wrong, wrong road right, you know what I mean. Anyway, less of the jokes. Sorry, it's just me. So, we've all had spots, or if you're lucky to have, like me, yeah, the joys, oh the joys. These days it's not just our teenagers that are suffering with, you know, real bad, painful and irritating to say the least skin issues, you know. My family's got a genetic weakness. And any sort of skin issues, you can look it up for yourself, but any sort of skin issues, you know, basically comes from lack of kidney filtration, because your kidneys filter out, you know, like toxins from what we drink and fluids. And so if they're not filtering properly, and what is the skin? So it's known, one, as the largest organ of the body. And so you can tell just by that alone, if you've got any skin issues, whether it's overproduction of sebum, which is like sweat, you know, and all the horrible nasties, you know, we've all done science at school. I'm sure it's, you know, well known that, you know, we sweat, and in that sweat, you know, if you don't shower, you get body odour. Why? Because of bacteria, because of toxins, and because of urea also. So you wee through the skin, how nice. Oh, lovely. So, get back to point. So we've all had spots or known someone that's been unfortunate enough to be plagued by them. And so lymph, basically, when we're talking about lymphatic fluid, is pus, is grease. So when you pop a spot and the yellow stuff that oozes out, that's lymph. And so it's trying to come through the skin as a spot because of inflammation, because of lymphatic stagnation. And so just think about, and I am skipping ahead of myself, but hear me out. So think about it. This is the largest organ, and now it's starting to manifest problems, you know, that are way more than just skin deep. What do I mean by that? Well, the body is an amazing multi-system functioning biological machine. Yeah, whatever you want to call it, right? But it is amazing, to say the least. And so just think, more people are suffering with neurological, you know, issues, whether that's, you know, depression, Parkinson's, senile dementia, memory issues, brain fog, headaches, vertigo. If you don't know what vertigo is, it is also a phobia, fear of heights, but in medicine, vertigo is basically dizzy spells. You know, and that could be brought on by many things. Hyperglycemia, which is, you know, like extreme along what we're on about, but low blood sugar, which is not a normal thing, not by any means. And, you know, if you've got sugar fluctuations, as in, you know, feeling tired after sugar, or shaking because you need sugar, then I would get yourself some urinalysis strips and do some self-experiments. It's a very surefire way to get an overall general look into your health or lack thereof, and can also point you into the direction of knowing the actual state internally of this temple, right? So, coordination and balance issues. Now there's one. You know, I'm trying to think how it started off first. I started seeing like sort of almost like glittery bits, I would say, like just, you know, every now and again. And so I would get that when I needed something to eat, and having something to eat would always take that off. But yeah, like little stars, particles or photons, call them what you will, but yeah, look like little glittery bits. And you know, I say that mainly because me and my daughter used to play with glitter a lot. You know, one of my best artistic talents that I've got flair for is making a right goddamn mess. Epic. So yeah, I had a tendency to get glitter like everywhere, even places where you wouldn't even know exist, believe me. So, and if you look at my front room, it is shockingly messy at the minute. So yes, this is basically the front room and dining area. The kitchen is too small to swing a dead cat round in, so we can't eat in there. And the bathroom, obviously, you won't want to sit down and, you know, in there. Newspaper, maybe, I'll let you off, but you know what I mean. And so, yeah. So anything that goes off crafty-wise gets paddled all through the house. But without sounding or seeming ungrateful, I'm not. You know, I am amazingly, amazingly blessed. And, you know, the worst times in my life, I'm 110% grateful for, because, you know, sooner rather than later, that's what they say. And so all lessons are better to learn than not to learn, and especially the hard ones. You know, if we could all just, it's a bit like when people say, would you like the good news or would you like the bad news? And most people, well, me anyway, get the bad news out of the way, fucking hit me with the bad news, please. And then, you know, you've got something to look forward to, type thing. But yeah, life doesn't always roll that way. Anyway, So yes, so you've got to like open your real eyes to the real lies. And by doing that, you'll realise that if it's got that bad, that it's oozing out of your skin, you know, your third kidney, call it what you will, either or, both and whatever, then you could safely say you are backed up with that shit. And shit being, you know, the priority was, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And so, like, and believe me, I was full of it. I was. Hi, I don't know who's just joined. Hi. So, yeah, you could safely say, by the stage of it affecting your skin, in whatever manner, you know, if it's psoriasis, it doesn't matter. Acne doesn't matter. These are all just different ways that, you know, these things and issues manifest. And so, yeah, it's like the tip of the iceberg. And so what we want to do is not get to that epic stage, you know. Easier said than done. You know, in today's society, unfortunately, you know, I'm not ranting, but the medical establishment, I'm sorry, I used to believe in ya, but I don't believe in ya anymore. Why? Because you just barely treat the symptoms, and that's all you aim to do, but you barely do that. And everything that's prescribed, every pill that's popped, all these POMs, or what I mean by that is prescription only medications, you need more drugs on top of that because of why? Because of the symptoms that they cause. And then you need more on top of that because they've got symptoms too that are going to cause you. It's like a domino effect. And so anything synthetic, whether it's any sort of painkiller, antibiotics, look up what anti-biology means. It's basically against nature. I'm sorry to tell you this if you don't know, but you are of nature. It's in your nature, and you are for nature. You know, so it's like, and don't get me wrong, you know, I'm a human being. I've had headaches, tummy aches, you know, period cramps, you name it. You know, I've had Feminax and paracetamols until they're probably coming out of every orifice. Obviously not in tablet form, but you know what I mean. So, but if things are becoming like a day or several times a week occurrence, I, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, start to think, well, what's actually causing that then? What's actually causing that? And when you start thinking that, you might even catch up to the white rabbit. What is the white rabbit? Why is he important? Because white rabbits are genetically recessive and rare. And why is this? Because the wild type, or the dominant gene, which is the brown in rabbits, is the dominant majority, is like the preset default colour, wild type, whatever you want to call it in genetics, for wild rabbits. And so white rabbits, you don't just have to be a bird of prey to, no, they fucking stick out like a sore thumb. Anyway, so yeah, if and when you see the white rabbit, you know he's a lucky fucker. Alright? Anyway. So, yeah. So the lymphatic system is a fat, lipid, predominantly, system to carry out all the nasties, all, you know, the dead matter, toxins, and all other bits of waste, really. So, yeah. And when it starts to fail, if there are blockages, you know, because of poor kidney filtration, then, you know, you are going to run into issues and neurologically degenerative issues, you know, lack of balance and coordination. I mean, balance is also tied to your inner ear and that kind of thing, but it's also neurological. Yeah, I was talking to, she's more than just a very good friend. She's my best friend. And I love her very much. Michelle, thank you for watching some of my videos. Michelle Haig, she's my best friend. Gary, I don't know whether you was watching with her, but either way, hi. I just want to say I love you both, like, dearly. You know, like way more than words can say. And so yeah, we were talking. She works with elderly people and, you know, like in the care sector, if you like. And, you know, it's very hard work, emotionally, physically, and, you know, it's very upsetting. You have to be somewhat, you know, hard-faced, and she's just found it very difficult recently. I've no doubt in my mind though, she's amazing at her job, because she's amazing as a person, first and foremost, just in general, like all around, everything. So, and one of the things that we spoke about was, you know, just the sheer number of people in later life, and it will get earlier as generations go on. I don't know whether you know, but you know, your health and everything you are, and even your thoughts, emotions, and your personality, characteristics, eye colour, and all the job lot is all encoded in you. So, I mean, I've gone as far as eye colour, Aryan race, iridology I'm at now, but that's another video. So what was I saying? So yes, it became like a prominency in my mind from, you know, speaking to certain people and that. But first and foremost, Michelle, you know, the sheer number of people that are in there with, you know, neurologically degenerative diseases and what, you know, people call Alzheimer's, senile dementia, Parkinson's, you know, there's many. And one of the, what's the word? one of the like psychosomatic, I believe it is, symptoms, or clues for this, in my mind anyway. I'm not a medical professional, obviously, nor would I even want to be. So, is, like negative traits, dare I say, as in not very warm personality wise, emotionally, they can be really sort of snappy and abrupt or sharp, if you like. Very, some would possibly say it could also manifest in sort of slightly confrontational or arrogancy, anger, but equally you get the negatives in the lethargy, the fatigue, the low mood, feeling everything's getting on top of you, sort of things like that. And one thing I just want to say that is rampant is like mood disorders. Yeah, it's, but it's another pandemic of epidemic systemic proportion. But I suppose when do people start believing or seeing that this could be an issue? Let me approach it a different way. The butterfly effect. So your actions, and we know this to be proof, no theories here, thank you. So your actions have a consequence. We learn this growing up very young by dropping things and your mum puts it back and dropping it again, and so we learn that at a very early age. So this happens in all behaviours, in all actions, everything, as a reaction. So, that's basically what I'm saying. And so all these neurological issues, which let's just point out for a minute, the more neurologically they are, depending on which parts of the brain are affected most, and this pertains to genetics and lifestyle, nutrition wise, and all across the board really. If you're telling yourself negative thoughts and things that aren't going to help you, the self-loathing, the talking yourself down, talking yourself out of things, you're just devaluing yourself. And just know from me, right, money is nothing, and you are everything. No exceptions, none, ever. And so the value of you runs through every cell or prison, wonder why they're called cells, in your body, because the cells keep the consciousness trapped here. Think of Stephen Hawkins, I think it was Stephen Hawkins, saying about, you know, consciousness is contained in like a membrane, or he, you know, said it was possible. You always get one with the other. Sure. I might have to look that up and get back to you. I don't like, you know, but so, or maybe for us to be able to perceive it as consciousness or as a sentient living being, it has to be contained within a membrane. And so cell membrane, your meninges is your brain membrane, and you know, all that type of stuff. So yeah, and I know I've waffled on, but we were talking about, you know, the state of our elderly people and the less able of society. And you know, I said the last time I saw my grandma, my mum's mum, I think it was second to last time, but she was in a nursing home, and it broke my heart. You know, my mama, she was sharp as a knife, had all her faculties, cognition, very active-minded, if not in body, because she was like paralysed on one side, but very mentally acute, you know. But this started to decrease somewhat, and it started, you know, after my granddad died and she couldn't look after herself. She had to go into a home, you know. And so, yeah. Unfortunately, we live in a society that tranquilizes a lot of people at this stage in their life, which is, it's more than depressing and disappointing. It's, you know, I'm not going to harp on that too much, but yeah, these are our ascended or ascending masters. These are the wise ones. These are, you know, like valuable. And even if you don't know, they're valuable to every one of us and some. The ones that aren't even here yet in this realm, you know, I mean, it's not great. And what does that achieve? Nothing on that person, you know. Predominantly, it serves as no benefit to the patient whatsoever, really. Although that could be debatable, because they're fed tranquilizers and, you know, mood, you know, sort of subduing type, calming, like anti-anxiety, all them sort of medications. Everything that lowers your awareness. Suppressing, that's the word I'm after. Suppressed. So when you suppress something, that means you block it, or you stop it, which is the same, or you, like, you know, it is bringing something to the halt, stopping it. Repressed feelings can lead to mass shootings, suicide. This is no joke. And they're doing this, and more to the point, they are karma free. I'd say the majority anyway are karma free on the basis that they are recruiting staff to do jobs to dose these people up with. Whether they know or not makes no odds. You know, you can have a dog and forget that it needs water or not know it needs water, but you're still responsible. You still need to be accountable. That's a life. An ant's life is no less of importance to us, an elephant, a bird, a lizard, you name it. It's just the shape that we come in. But they're not getting the blood on their hands, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, it brought to the forefront just how many people in a later stage of life, in the senior sort of years of life, this is happening to, you know? They're just getting repressed. And I don't know, personally, anybody that has kept all the cognitive functions, faculties, you know, like, and that can manifest in many ways, you know. Obviously it's variable how that shows itself from person to person, but I don't know many that have lasted, you know, a substantial amount of time really in one of these places. So going back to the lymphatic system, oh my God, I can hear an owl on my back garden. Wow, I love nature, amazing. I wish I could open the door, but I don't want all the bugs coming in. So anyway, back to the lymphatic system. So way before putting the shoes on to walk this path, right, that I'm on, I was sat in front of a doctor trying to discuss all this list, all these seemingly random and unconnected symptoms that are manifesting all over my body, and not just my body, emotional, like metaphysically also, let's say, you know, like above, below and everything in between, like on all aspects of my poor health and hell being, because I was in hell. So they offered me immunosuppressants. Well, obviously I flat out refused. I mean, so there's nothing you can do, nothing you can advise me on. There is no other way that's end of the road, like cross your fingers, hope you don't die sort of thing. Well, same as these mass shootings, if you keep repressing people's feelings and emotions, which emotions are emoting emotion, feeling emotion, you're meant to express, like when you express milk for your baby, you get it off your chest, you get it out there, and the people in your close surroundings, whether that's family, friends, whoever, right, in close proximity, by our nature, by default, are meant to help with assisting you doing that. And so, you know, you just get a build up, a stagnation, mental impairment, mental dysfunction, just, it's like devolutionizing, you know? But it's also, it's like the canary in the coal mine. Eventually, that ticking time bomb, and I'm going back to the lymphatic system, right? It's nothing short of ready to blow, right? Because it's just been suppressed, repressed, and under pressure, as in depressed, pushed in, pushed down. So you sort of get where I'm going. If you're lucky or not, whichever way you want to look at it, you know, shit's gonna start getting explosive. Inflammation is gonna just be rampantly everywhere, you know. You're gonna get rheumatic factors, you're gonna get pain, because pain is inflammation. Wherever pain is, inflammation. Wherever inflammation is, there is acid pH. Cancer, or what I like to call it, mutated cells, or a clump thereof, you know, it's all the same process manifest in different ways. And so depending on your genetic code, makeup and disposition, and also is a massive factor of this, is diet and lifestyle, as in, you know, whether it's healthy or not, if you exercise or not, if you assist your body or resist your body, you're building up friction. It's not going to end well, guys. It's not going to end well. I just want to point on, since the clock shot, there has been a massive, like, I can't get that across enough, like epically massive increase of, you know, mucus type illness, let's put it that way. You know, like there's, so one that comes to mind is oh God, what's it called? I forgot the word. You know, isn't that just typical? Pneumonia. Build up of fluids in your lungs, Where do you think them fluids come from? I can remember my mum, I don't think she was talking to me about it, but it was a conversation about my granddad Fred. If you're lucky enough to have grandparents, if you've got them still in your life, just tell them you love them, you know. Ring them up, ask them how they are, ask them if they need anything doing. It's only ever too late when they're dead. So yeah, there was a conversation about my granddad. You know, he'd got this drain. He'd got this drain in his lungs. And this thing, like under his bed or at the side of his hospital bed, kept like filling up. And they didn't really know where this fluid was coming from. Nobody did. You know, I'd bet my life on it now that they would still say that same bullshit. And I have reasonable suspicion that this could have possibly been lymphatic fluid, trying to get rid of the waste, which was the cancer that my granddad was dying from. I will possibly never know. All I know is cancer feeds on sugar and it loves acidic environments. So does fungus. You know, Candida is a fungus. And so it's there, isn't it? So yeah, it never ends well. Anyway, I digress. So, how to know if your immune system needs a boost? Well, obviously, you know, you could say a general feeling of malaise, you know, just not feeling well, not feeling optimum, not feeling, you know, just not feeling good, in general, sorry. You know, chronic fatigue. Chronic is like, you know, where it comes on rapid, and you know, like, there's no getting away from it. You just succumb to the fatigue. It don't matter how many hours of sleep you've had, you know, you're still tired. And so, you know, at my worst, I could have anything from 10 or more, 10 to 12 hours of sleep, most of which were interrupted by trips to the loo, I'll add. There is a name for nocturnal urination, you know, excessive nocturnal urination, I might add. If you're suffering from that, cut down on your sugar. Don't go for none of the artificial sweetener crap. Look into them also. They're not great. If you're going to have anything sweet, honey, if you don't like honey, because I know certain things don't go with honey, it can make things taste a bit funny, you're better off with just sugar. So yeah, this can manifest in several ways, right? So if your lymphatic system is under stress, is not functioning to the highest efficient of its capabilities. You'll get swollen lymph nodes. Greasy skin, problematic skin issues, as in eczema, dermatitis, hives, rashes, you know, things like prickly heat. You could also, and will, but not everyone, develop food sensitivities. You know, I mean, that goes like up to the extreme, as in celiac disease, diverticulitis, irritable bowel, you name it, all, you know, they're all like linked as well. So your bowel movements, you know, these might affect you in a different order. They don't have to be in this order. Some might not affect you at all, or you might get more. Like I say, by nature, autoimmune disease or disorder, you know, you can't just go on yours or another person's like symptoms. Symptoms are just a manifestation of the damage or the stress or the inability to process your own shit, basically. You know, not very nice when you think about it, but that's the truth. Dizziness on standing up. I mean, they say standing up too fast. But how can you stand up too fast that your head can't cope? Yeah, see what I'm getting at. So I've already covered the fatigue, brain fog, inability to concentrate, low concentration span. You know, media driven, that also, but neurologically is in, you know, the wiring of your brain circuitry and your central nervous system. Also, you know, or is, you could say, the physical wiring circuitry of that. Yeah. Dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis. I don't know whether you heard that, but that oh. I'm just going to open the door because it's amazing. Typical, isn't it? There's a, if you can hear the external sounds, you could probably hear that bike or car. I ain't got a clue about. So they're telling next door now I'm hyper vigilant. I want that owl to just hoot again. So anyway, yeah, brain fog, concentration or lack thereof, headaches, you know, pressure headaches, balding, also known as alopecia. So why does acidosis, or on that end of the scale, why does that cause baldness? Because your hair follicles, where your hair grows from, gets blocked up and backed up with shit. Just saying, but you can have a look yourself if you don't believe me. I did, like, I had, and still have, male pattern, like, or female, like, what's it, baldness, and it was actually worse than that. Yeah, I have actually got hair growing from here, you see, whereas I didn't before. So, this side has got more, and I don't know why, because I sleep on this side, but I've got more hair growing there. You see, it was all right back here where I was bald. So, like, still dead fine, look, baby hairs. But yeah, it's actually going. So, yes, dandruff, have I covered dandruff? Or, yeah, I think I did, didn't I? Tinnitus, ringing in the ears. If it's that, if it's gone that deep, the into my in logical form, you will also notice low mood, as in, ironically, is like depression, clinical depression, low mood, like low tolerance to stress, you know. And what is stress? Well, it covers a massive spectrum. So, you know, just life, basically. It's like, you know, you feel, or it's apparent that you can't handle just life in general, the usual shit, you know. Lack of coordination, dropping things, feeling off kilter, almost like just unbalanced, like, you know, like, I mean, I used to feel not drunk, but like I'd got no control over my coordination or balance. You know, it was just like way out of sync, out of kilter, whatever you want to call it. Sleep disorders, and it's because of the part of the brain called the parathyroid, which is all about you know, like it refers to, you know, your mood and how you're feeling, and it's also connected to your adrenal glands, which are where? On top of the kidneys. So adrenal fatigue, if anyone's been diagnosed with that, get your kidneys filtering, and that will alleviate that, and also hopefully help prevent any or like major depression issues. Sleep disorders, even poor or, you know, like declining eyesight, excess earwax, numbness, tingling, constipation. Yeah, that's about it. Just listening to that owl. So, let me just quickly check. I know it's gone on for a long time. Yeah. So yes, like, like at the end of the scale, the absolute extreme can manifest and materialize in the form of endometriosis. My mum had that. She's gone through the change now. But I had that up until, you guessed it, putting these shoes on, motherfucker. So, endometriosis. What is endometriosis? Well, it's basically painful problem periods, like, across the board, as in the PMT, which is premenstrual tension, which is like the emotional thought process that is connected to this dysfunctional function. Chronically heavy, major cramping. You also get the neurological mixture in there, as in like the headaches, the fatigue, the cravings for the sweet stuff and the junk food, just the general feeling of malaise, inability to, feel at ease, just like anxious, just exhaustion. I know one of the things, if it was ever hot and it was that time of the month, just inability to just cope with the heat, the extra heat. Like the pain of, it'd just be so extreme, it was like not funny. So, having menstrual cramp is one thing, it's like, I'm not no pussy by any means, but when it's hurting down to your knees, and it's meant to be just your bouillon, and it ain't really meant to be that bad. I mean, it's just like a monthly process. Come on, girls. It's not meant to be this epic, plan your life around period. Period, pun intended. For me, it was just a bleeding pain in arse, to put it blunt, pun intended. But you know what I mean? It's not meant to take over your life. We're not meant to be struggling and suffering in that way. We're meant to be thriving. And quite frankly, I was barely surviving at my worst. Yeah. Like, I've already covered memory problems, but cognitive, like a decline in cognitive processes and function. Fibromyalgia, which is also the same as fibroids, it's, one and the same thing, like fractals. That's all I'm going to say is fractals. I had a really bad, issue with brain fog. Like, and memory, I was, like, short term, long term, and in between. It was like, I've just got no memory of any memory, none whatsoever. Which was rather, it was really scary. I can remember a lot of people saying, some in my family, like, well, basically making out or insinuating that I was doing it on purpose. That couldn't be further from the truth. So, I never expressed because I didn't feel it safe to express that. But it really scared me. It really scared me that I couldn't remember these things and that I wasn't stupid by any means, but I felt stupid, inadequate and less than and lower functioning and like, what the fuck is happening type thing. So anyway, yeah, feeling sick, nauseous, feeling hungry at sort of like unnatural hours, feeling like you're, like depersonalization, I would say. And sort of, I remember feeling like, strangely, not here, even though I was here, it's hard to put into words, but just like I was far away, almost looking, but I'd no power, like within me. But it's funny that, like pH is all power of hydrogen, and so that's all about electrically functioning, as in the body, as in, like your central nervous system. If you're not really all wired up and connected up right and in completion, then you're not going to really, it's going to be hard to join dots because the circuit's been broken. And so, there is a void. You reach that void and can't go any further. And, just metaphorically speaking. Anyway, I'm sorry that this has been so long. Well over an hour, about an hour and a half, me waffling on. Anyway, that being said, if you like it, thumbs up, please. I really need to get this message out. Helps with the algorithms. If you think it's shit, you'll want to comment that it's bullshit. Go for it. Put a thumbs down. Matters not. Just comment, like, please, if you do like it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to be updated on my shit. And share the shit out of my shit if you think someone you know would benefit from it. And that being said, thank you very much. I love you all. I wish you the best. Take care. Until next time. Shalom.